BridgeVille is the third challenge of the Hammer Cup 2017, which can be found on runthinkshootlive.com. I'm going to play through and analyse all 20 of the entries. There is one unofficial entry which is included in that 20, but we'll play that at the end, so that'll be in the next few videos, because this will span a few videos. So I have played all the maps before, just to make sure everything runs smoothly, so when I'm editing, it doesn't need much work done, because I'm lazy. So, the first entry is called Mezzanine. Mezzanine, or something like that. Mezzanine, I don't know. So, obviously I don't really need to explain the theme too much. Everyone knows what a bridge is, but the contest does specifically ask for interesting uses of bridges, and I guess there'll be a lot more to it than just having a bridge in it. So we'll be looking out for a lot of the cool ways that bridges are used in interesting and unique ways. So, as I explained, I've played through all these before, and I gave some thought to the kind of the gameplay features, and others I didn't. Or in other parts I just, ran past and waited until I recorded this. But right off the bat, this one was confusing to me. This whole map, but I mean, with this guy, you can easily go and punt him off. You don't need those grenades, and it is quite a hassle to kind of stand at the door, as you saw, and try to get in. But yeah, so we're now going to enter kind of this maze of buildings, which completely confused me the first time, but I eventually got the hang of it. So, as I said, or as I was going to say, combat isn't so great. I mean, it's cool how there's turrets and stuff, but it's still just boring and generic combat, I feel. Now, we could easily, throw a grenade in here, I think. I'm not sure if that was its purpose. I mean, if this was intended, it's actually pretty cool how you can fight them in a completely different room. As in a room that you are going to go to. I will show you it in a minute now. That wasn't supposed to happen, but I'll try and see if I can get round, because there's a ladder at the back here, you see. Now this is where I got a bit confused, because there's like a turret there, but then you come back round and you're back in this building again, and I don't think there's any other way around. I don't know if we can get up here and walk around anywhere. But I feel the only way to get here is to use that crate that I just dropped down there and pile on top of that building. Maybe we'll try a few more props. You see, because this door doesn't open. Was there any crates in here? I don't think so. So we've got to spend a while trying to drag this. Alright, there we go. After ages, we kind of got it onto the edge. and then you can jump up. Now, I don't feel that's very user-friendly at all. I feel if you wanted the player to do that, I don't know if that is actually officially how you're supposed to get across. I mean, I tried jumping a couple of times, but it didn't work. I would just put crates, like 4 or 5 crates up here, instead of like 1 crate, which you could easily lose. And once you've lost your first crate, you've still got a few more. So this opens this door, to which there's a turret there, which you can easily dispatch off. Now this bit I was stuck at, because I thought you couldn't get in here. You can. I was going back and forward for a while, when you could just do that. And these turrets aren't really in any, you know, challenging places. Like the first one over there was actually, like, had the right idea. The fact you had to move towards it. But here, you know, we're in, move, throw out the window. So if there was more of a challenge for these turrets, like if they were placed in places where the player could had to hide or try and lob a grenade or something, then it would be a lot more. It'd just make it a funner experience. Okay, so there's some Combine elites in here, which we can easily take down. That's pretty easy. We'll just destroy that and... Oh yeah, we need to push the button. I think. Is there a button? Yeah, there's the button. And once we've done that, we can drive out. So, that's Mezzanine. It was... It had kind of a good pacing, I think, to it. And some people would disagree, but it's got... It had kind of the aspect where you could see parts of the map that you couldn't get to yet, and you had to work out how to get there by going through doors, pushing buttons, and it wasn't always clear what was going on. So maybe if it could be a slightly more clearer, then it would have been a much better map. But otherwise, I think it could be improved by making the turrets placed better for more fun combat, and the Combine being utilized in more efficient aspects by like placing them where the player can't just run straight up to them. And I've spoken about that a lot in my videos, and even I am getting sick of saying it. But, you know, hey ho, that's just the way it is. So, thank you to the maker of that one. Now we are on Bridge Story. Now, this one's odd, and when I say odd, this is probably one of the weirdest maps ever. It involves reading. I think I'll let you read it instead of me having to read it all out. Because it's... yeah, I don't know what to make of it. So obviously, at this point, I thought it was going to lead to something. And you're probably, if you've never played BridgeVille, you're probably thinking it leads to something. And obviously it says without gameplay, and as soon as I saw that, I thought, well, you know, when you say gameplay, people usually think, oh, no gameplay means no fighting, or no gameplay means no puzzles, or whatever. But, you know, I think games and maps can be done very well with, like, not the orthodox gameplay and the usual way. I think there are maps that can do that. So I was like, well, I'll give it a chance, but then well, you'll see what happens. You know, it says this is a story about being disappointed. If you are disappointed, then the story has been told effectively. And then, thank you for playing. I hope you enjoyed Bridge Story. So, was I disappointed? No, because I actually didn't have any expectations. Was I angry? Not really, it didn't take up much of my time. Did I think it wasted my time? As I said in the last point, didn't really make a difference. Do I think it was a waste of the mapper's time? Absolutely. I don't know how long it took to make, but it would have been... I feel that it could have been avoided completely. Like, it's not really a story, and... I mean, just like looking into all this, you know, if you're disappointed the story's been told effectively. Has it though? Was there ever any story there? I don't know what's going on here. I'm sorry if you're epileptic. I should probably put a warning or something. Maybe not. I'm not sure how much this would affect anything. I don't know. But yeah, so moving on. Now this map actually had a lot to it, and it was actually one of the better maps, I think. At least the first time I played it, I actually enjoyed myself for the most part. So it was a simple driving section, which I don't really mind. I mean, I feel that all driving, if you're gonna have a driving section, it should be longer. But the aim here is to open the gate for your car to go through, as if it's part of like you know, Half-Life 2 episode 2, you know, if it was part of the story. So I actually don't mind that. And then that door doesn't open. We're going to come up there later. But we've got a sniper. Obviously it's showing us, it's kind of showing us how the game mechanics work. If we didn't know how, you know, if we didn't know what snipers were, if this was like our first time, then watching these zombies die, it would show us how it works, which is good. It's good to kind of have a visual on something that needs to be learned. So not trying something out on the player, so not letting the player try and find out firsthand is good. Like having zombies dying instead of the player is a good idea. So there are a fair bit of zombies. That was first section. And I think this mini zombie is unnecessary. I think that because I mean, zombies can be used effectively in tight spaces, or you know, especially if they like pop out of like toxic goo or whatever. But just them all standing in like a square like this, just like walking around, isn't, you know, truly that effective. So I don't know if they had one or two, or maybe even have one popping out of the toxic goo. But anyway, right, moving on. So I actually got stuck here. I was like walking about all over the place down here. There's actually something to find. I don't know if we can get across there. We can. Just a bit of stuff, goodies. So there is a ladder here, and you can. And I was speaking about this earlier. You can look into this area and see what is to come, and you can see that there's a crossbow, and that it's yeah, you can grab that later. But now we're going to push on. So you can literally just jump over there, but you can't jump up there when you're down there. So that's why you needed to come over. Alright. We're going to jump past the sniper. And I like this section of the map, because this section, it's been done a few times, but it's the whole sniper progression where you have to get past the sniper, but you can't just run straight to your goal. And in this case, I don't even think we know where our goal is. I mean, I guess we've got to kind of get rid of the sniper. And if we had a few grenades, we could try lobbing grenades, but we can see over there, there is a wall or a something to conceal you from the sniper, so we can slowly move our way along. Okay, obviously that model doesn't quite work.
Blood loss detected.
But we can use this to jump down and head into this door. So even though that section was short, I think it's actually good. Like literally having the player plan ahead, you know, use strategy. Why am I missing all these shots? And take risks as well. So there's strategy and there's also risk taking, and it's really fun to have stuff like that in your maps. So we've now got the gravity gun. And now we can get rid of this guy now. I think this is too easy. I think that he should be further away, or this thing should be further away, so you'd have to throw it where he can shoot you. That would make it slightly more challenging and, you know, just generally better. Now, I've actually just noticed this, but there's also like a way around here. I don't know if you could have gone, like, tried to chance it and gone around this way, but it's good that there's multiple ways around, basically. Because it gives the impression of kind of freedom. Even though it's not like an open world game, you still have the choice to go to the left or to the right. And a choice like that can truly enhance the quality of your maps and mods. So I think the bridge aspect of this map is slightly, you know, subtle. I mean, obviously there's a bridge here, although it's not like the main point in this map is not like get across a bridge, it's get through a force field, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for me anyway, as long as the map's enjoyable. But in terms of the contest, I'm not sure how well it's going to do in that aspect. But I as I said at the start, I think this is one of the better maps in this contest. So there is a bit of combat now. There are a few too many Combine soldiers here. All just like at this one choke point, and there's like cover here, but they're still like right there, so it's not ideal. So just get some health. And it's good because all this time we can see the whole area. That's one good thing, is the fact it's all, you know, compacted into one area. So we can see where we were before, and down there we could see up here. And, you know, we could climb up that ladder and see in there. So it's constantly helping the player keep track of their surroundings. And that's a good thing. Your maps don't have to be entirely linear, and never be scared to go back to the, you know, the same area, but maybe on a different level, as in a different height, or you know what I mean. So the way I did this, there is like a cool crane or something over there that does, like, it kind of moves across here. I'm not entirely sure what purpose it serves within the map context. I found it easier just to pile up a ton of boxes like so, and then jump up there. So we're just gonna get a few more boxes that could be of some use. I don't think we'll need all of them, but I'm just using them just to get up. Could have used that box there, but that's fine. So yeah, you can move that, but it's pointless, or it's rather it's useless now. Okay, now we get to that point where we can get to the crossbow, which this is where we were going round in a circle. It's a really good thing to do, and we've also got a little kind of sniper window here. I'm missing all my shots. I can barely see my crosshair. But yeah, the only purpose this room serves is to kind of kill these guys, which is good. You do also have the choice to go up here. This just goes around in a circle. And I think we just jump here. Yeah, easy jump. Or at least it's supposed to look difficult and give you kind of that rush of, you know, jumping. And I think it's quite cool. It's long enough that it looks dangerous, but it's easy, honestly. So yeah, after pushing that, the force field has disappeared. We can now walk across the bridge that we walked across before, but this time with an alternative route, or route if you're American. And if we just hit that. Now that was a very odd place to place a soldier, right here. It's not even the first place you look, so I wouldn't have placed, you know, a combine soldier there. Not even like really in this area at all, but again, it's the combat here that that doesn't do as well. And there are places like here that you can go, and here. Just not a lot of tools to use, I think. Like, no exploding barrels or anything like that. They're always fun to have in a hunter battle. Even if they're not, like, right up close to the player, even if the player has to move for them, it's always good to have them. So now we have pushed the button. It's very clear what we're doing. The player have pushed the button, and now they can get the car through, and that is the map. So that map was good, as I said. It made great use of space. In terms of combat, it wasn't as good, but it was still decent, and it was one of the better ones in BridgeVille. The next map in BridgeVille is Night Train.
Alright, Gordon. I'll go through the plan once more. On the bridge is a train carrying some marked cargo that we want. To get it, we'll have to stop the train from escaping. Go underneath the bridge and hack 3 combine shields. Then head topside and find the blue train car near the other end of the bridge. There'll be a bomb for you to activate on it. Try to keep things quiet until you get here. There are a lot of cops. After cracking open the train, you'll want to head to the other end of the bridge where some friends will provide you with a car. There are 3 boxes of cargo. but you'll only be able to take one at a time. Bring them back into the cave above. I'll drag them back down here and give you some supplies. Once you've got all three, come back down into the sewer and we'll get out of here.
Okay, so a nice little bit of instruction. It's much better than writing on screen. In this case, however, I found that that was too much narrative, too much to process for the player, especially someone who is a very slow thinker like myself. So now I know how to do this. I will try and demonstrate to you what's going on. Straight away, spawning enemy right in front of your eyes. Not a good idea. It just looks silly.
In the bridge, hack those three consoles and stay out of sight.
So yeah, just a nice little loot area. Just something off the beaten track, which allows the player to do a bit of searching for themselves. Now, this map has naturally spawning enemies, or endlessly spawning enemies, which I don't think is a very good idea. I think it's a lazy way of creating combat scenarios, basically. And also a very annoying way, because the player kind of should feel rewarded after they finish like, kind of a combat situation, but in this scenario they just keep coming and it's confusing where they're coming from sometimes. I mean, it sounds like I'm just complaining for the sake of complaining, but it's a real issue where a lot of maps will try naturally spawning enemies, but there won't be a way, they'll just never end and you'll never know how to stop them, and you think there's a way to stop them and there won't be a way to stop them. But back to this map, there's we're currently pushing these combine consoles, and you can kind of hear them, but you don't actually know what you're doing is right. So I would just make more of a sound, and I don't know if the guy was talking after the first one. I thought he did the first time, but he didn't seem to do it that time, which is odd. But then he did it after the third time, but just something to alert the player to know what they're doing is the right thing. And I mean, all of the three consoles are placed in a conventional area, so it's not like too bad. So now we're going to the train yard, which is where I got fairly confused. Obviously these orange shields you can just walk right through. But you heard him say, you heard him giving instructions about a blue carriage. Now, there are a few blue carriages like this one, and this one, and that one over there. And even if you'd seen the map at the start, there's a map, trying to memorize that is really difficult. So, the blue carriage is this one. Took me a while to find that. Again, this is me. Some people may pick it up quicker, which is fine. It's just not, the linking is too subtle and uncoordinated that but otherwise it's great that we've got this car, and then from here it kind of becomes clear. How did I take that guy down? I can't remember. But we put that there's a nice little pouch or container at the back of our car which we can use, and we can just speed dead ahead. So he throws me surprise. Yeah, he throws me surprises, and I have to then go back to the same carriage. This time there is a sniper who is actually a very good sniper. I think if we go down under, then it will be... That's a better option of taking out the sniper rather than trying to go up top. And what we can do is we literally can just run right up to the train with the package. And run like that. Now the thing that's annoying about this fight is the fact that he's there's still Combine running around. It's too messy to kind of focus on him, and that thing got in the way. But I strongly recommend taking this guy out. Yeah, taking this guy out before doing any more. It makes it so much more easy. Where is he? There he is. There he is, rather. So there we go, we got him. Now, the issue is... I have no idea where that thing went. Ah, this is it. Yeah, because if we lose this crate, then we can't complete it. Let me just go stop by, get some ammo, some easy ammo. So, if you take out that guy, take out the sniper, then the rest of the guys aren't really too much of a damage. So there is kind of a bit of choice, if you will, like take out the guys or wing it, which is, you know, a good choice, I guess. So then we go back. Now there are a lot of things to kind of get caught on here. I'm a bit wary when I'm driving. Like that thing back there, kind of that thing there, you can get caught on it. It always it's always a pain to get caught on. In fact, I think we can get through here perhaps. So we'll just go and pick it up again by walking and then take the car back. And I don't know, I can't remember if this is the last time or if we've got to do it again. But it would be better if you had to go and collect them from other carriages instead of the same one. And I know that would mean like rewriting the kind of story arc of it all, but it would make it so much more exciting and fun if it was like different carriages. So we'll just turn that guy around. That is the right one, yep, it is. And then we can go. And that's it. So it's quite a atmospheric train yard, don't get me wrong. Like, it's a really good looking train yard, I think, and it has kind of a cool, as I said, atmosphere to it. It has a good premise, going to get this loot on a train and then bring it back to your friend. But all it needs is a bit more, it needs to be a bit more dynamic, so it needs more carriages and less instructions, or more gameplay that allows the player to work out for themselves rather than someone talking, giving them a lot of information at the start. I know that's difficult because I do say to people, you know, really do help the player with things that aren't obvious. And, you know, like if for instance, in like Half-Life 2, you know, you get told by certain characters, you need to go and do this, like Odessa Cubbage says, go and destroy the gunship with the rocket launcher, and you go and do that, but he doesn't he doesn't tell you where to stand or anything like that. So there's you can get a lot of information or little information, but again, it all comes down to what the gameplay is like. So there, it was too much information, and the gameplay itself wasn't easy to work out. So hopefully that's helpful.